Swiss alpine flowers in full bloom are one of the most beautiful sights in the Alps mountain range. When the Alps mountains bright blossom surround you in the meadows and high rocky ground of Switzerland, early and midsummer is the best time to see them. During this time of the year, a short hike up any mountainside will reveal a variety of Swiss mountain flowers, including primroses, heathens, gentians, daisies, bellflowers, and buttercups. The chance to see rarer flowers species that thrive away from populated areas increases as you ascend, posing through the tree line and top to the rocky paths and glacier lakes. I was once privileged to spend the entire summer in the Alps. Poisonous and endangered flowers. Many Swiss alpine flowers are protected, but others are in danger. Please don't try and accumulate an impressive collection while out walking. The alpine ecosystem's fragile ecology counts every flower. If you want to keep it as a memento, take a picture of it. Furthermore, some of these flowers are poisonous. Some are extremely poisonous. Violet flowers. Pretty aster, which I saw on my first nature walk in the Zermatt, is one of the pretty violet colored alpine flowers. You may also see violet colored primroses, sticky primroses, alpine snowbell. The endangered German gentian is also a striking violet shade, which is quite different from the vibrant blue spring gentian shown below. Alpine toadflax can be found higher up in the rocky areas. Common moonscoot and the pasque flower, among others, are poisonous. They were not present in my experience. Blue flowers. The gentian or blood flower familiar make up the majority of the blue flowers you will see in the Swiss Alps. Gentians, such as the spring gentian, are all protected. Other gentians look like trumpets and bells, despite the fact that the spring gentian has, which is true. During my mountain hike, I saw common but beautiful fairies thimble bellflowers. Many pink alpines belong to the primrose or heather family, a type of primrose. Alpine rock jasmine is protected. I found it on rocky ground 3,103 meters, that is 1.9 miles above the sea level, where snow still remained at the height of summer. Purple saxifrage is pink despite the name and was also found on high rocky ground. A deep pink rhododendron gives its name to numerous hotels, including the famous Alpenrose. Moor campion, mountain thrift, soap bread, mountain houseleek, and spring health or other pink flowers you may see. Most pink alpine flowers are protected. As with other colors, a couple are very poisonous. I am going to give you a list of the most commonly found flowers in Switzerland. Sempra pine. The Sempra pine, along with the larch, is frequently found as far up as the forest limit. Seeds are produced only every 6 to 10 years. The Sempra pine can withstand a temperature as low as minus 40 degree in the winter. Its long, soft needles grow in groups of 5. A large number of Sempra pines produce a huge, heavy cones that smell strongly of resin about every 10 years. Single small cones are also produced in other years. The nutcracker, which buries nuts for its food reserves, assists Sempra pines in the dispersal of their seeds. The humus-rich soil is required for the Sempra pine to germinate. At a depth of 3 to 5 centimeter in the soil, the Sempra pine nuts hidden by the nutcracker find ideal germination conditions. Many Sempra pines have been around for 1,000 years, and they can tell a lot of stories about harsh weather, lightning, and permafrost. Have you ever smelt the wonderful scent of Sempra pine? Nearly every restaurant in the Indian has separated petals. Trumpet gentians were discovered in the mountains around Zermatt. In the Alps, all the varieties of bellflower look like hanging bells. Pine has a endangered stirrup, which is Sempra pine clad walls and furniture. Many Sempra pines, like this one at the frost's edge, wage constant battle with the elements. Several trees bear the scars of this harsh existence. Mountain pine. The mountain pine is the most common tree in the Pas del Fruon area. Mountain pines come into two types, erect and recline. Seeds are dispersed by the wind and germinate even on dry, stony ground. Mountain pines were the first trees to recolonize areas left bare by clear felling in the 19th century. In June, mountain pines bloom. Their short, hard needles grow in pairs, unlike the Sempra pine, whose needles grow in clusters of 5. Mountain pines in erect and reclining forms differ in their growth, cones, and habitats. The erect mountain pines, Western Alps territory in the national park overlaps that of the reclining mountain pines. In turn, a wide range of shapes are found. A reclining mountain pine may suddenly rise up, taking on the form of an erect mountain pine. In either mountain pine forest, the erect mountain pines is commonly in the national park. Its hook-shaped branches are distinctive, allowing it to be distinguished from Sempra pines. The Val del Bosque offers numerous opportunities to see mountain pines in their many forms. Reclining mountain pines grow in the forest boundary zone and the steep slopes. Larch. The larch is the most visible of all the conifers in the area as it appears in the various stages. Its tender green needles appear in spring, turn golden yellow in autumn, then shed in November. Although they are not demanding, larches will thrive in almost any soil, but they do require a lot of light to germinate. They thrive in less dense forest and open areas. New needles appear towards the end of May or early June. The red female flowers open shortly thereafter. This lesion which also known as Wolfsfresche in German, is frequently seen on large trees. In the past, this highly toxic luscious species was added to wolf bait to poison these unwelcome predators. Up to 2,200 meters, losses are common in the national park. They grow to the forest limit together with the Zimbra pines and mountain pines. This tree does not like fog and a humid environment, which is why it thrives in the Endine dry climate. Ancient trees like this one have barks that can reach up to 30 centimeter thick, providing excellent lightning and wildfire protection. A caterpillar attacks a lush about every 9 years. In the summer, the tree tops are already burning brown. The Indian is characterized by large meadow forest. Sembra pine large forests used to exist in these areas, but farmers cleared Zembra pines for grazing land, leaving only the larches. Norway spruces. There are fewer spruce trees in the national park than in the other parts of Alps. Stands of spruce are extremely rare. Mixed forest larch and Norway spruce are common on the shady slopes of the main Yengdine Valley. Norway spruce thrive in the adaptation form that is normally only found in the far north areas exposed to large amounts of snow, such as south of Punt Prezel. Snow cannot accumulate on branches that are shorter than usual and are more slender than usual. Snake spruce are these trees in German. Norway spruce grows straight and fast, so it is frequently used for timber. Unlike mountain pines and larches, spruce requires very little for germination and development. Young spruce and Decembera pines grow faster in dense mountains forest like Plan Parasul than large mountain pines, which requires a lot of light. Browse may have an impact on growth in some areas. The dark green evergreen needles are arranged in singly around the branches and are only shed after about 6 years. In the autumn, the seeds mature in the hanging cones and are separated by the wind, after which the cones fall to the ground. Moss campion. On open grassland and scree, moss campion grows in compact moss-like cushions, mostly on limestones and dolomite. The tiny pink flowers are held on 3 centimeters long stem. They bloom in the national park in July and August, depending on the altitude. Most campion cushions can reach a diameter of more than a meter. They are like real recycling factories. Their closed form keeps water and heat inside, while dead plant materials is transformed into the newly supply of food. It takes hundreds of years for a cushion to grow large enough to cover a square meter. Swiss Andorser glacier crowfoot, which is found on the Finded Heron at 4,270 meters above the sea level, holds the altitude record for flowering plants. Super performer capable of photosynthesizing much more efficiently than plants growing at low altitudes. Pygmy buttercup. The pygmy buttercup is found only in the snowy valleys of Switzerland Macun Plateau. Its tiny yellow flowers open in July or August. Alpine toadflax. The figwort family includes alpine toadflax. This robust plant can be found on limestone or dolomite scree up to 3,000 meters high. You are most likely to see it on Merthyr, the Palan Valley, and the Fjordka Truplichen in the national park. Rhaetian poppy. At 2,650 meters elevation, the Rhaetian poppy grows in the midst of steep screes at the Fjordka Vandal Bosch. Limestone's debris is the very hostile environment in which only few plants can survive. Long, flexible taproots anchor the plant in the scree, providing it with water and nutrients. The Rhaetian poppy is a typical eastern alpine plant that only grows to the east of the river Inn. Vanilla orchid. In July, you are almost certain to come across the black sheep purple vanilla orchid when walking in grassy limestone meadows above the forest boundary. You may even find the more rare rosy variety that you see here. Don't miss out the chance to smell this flower's distinctive vanilla scent. Peanut leaved ragwort. A lot of people ask about this yellow orange to orange plant that grows up to 40 centimeter tall and blooms abundantly in July and August. The pinnate-leaved ragwort is a eastern alpine plant that only grows to the east of the river Inn. Its most common mountain pine forest and stony, dry meadows. Though the plant's flowers are similar in color and appearance, it should not be confused with arnica. Its white, hairy seed heads are very noticeable. Alpine aster. In the alpine aster, yellow flowers from the daisy rose, the primrose, gentian, and buttercup familiar can be found. On high rocky ground, I came across the sunny Camois rockwood, as well as another member of the daisy family, the golden hawksbeard. Arnica is a common and innocent looking flower that is actually poisonous, as in the pretty globe flower. Wolfsbane is less appealing but even poisonous. I did not see these flowers on my own walks, but it serves as a reminder to avoid Swiss alpine flowers or mountain flowers anywhere in the Alps of Europe. Fairy thimble bellflower. The bellflowers from fairy thimbles are light blue. The basal leaves are rounded and toothed. Fairy thimble is a spreading plant that grows on limestone, dolomite rocks, and screens, embedding itself into the soil. Mountain avens. The national park's alpine meadows are carpeted with this arcto-alpine plant. Its woody stems creep along the ground, preventing erosion. The flower, which is appropriately named in Latin, has 8 plates. Long, feathery seeds have long forms. Edelweiss. Over the last 2 centuries, Edelweiss has been harvested in such large quantities that it was almost extinct. It is quite common in its natural habitat. It thrives on sunny, calcareous slopes up to 3,000 meters in elevation. The flowers are smell and yellowish white, growing in a cluster and they're surrounded by prominent woolly white bracts that give the flower head its distinctive star shape. Alpine clematis. The alpine clematis produces blue-white flowers that measure 4 to 6 centimeters in height between June and July. This plant is frequently overlooked as it scrambles through other bushes. It occurs in a variety of places along the footpath from Zernus to Glusa. Straighted Mereorian, common Mersorian. Both of these Daphne species are small shrubs that are poisonous. The more common of the two is striated Mesorian in the national park, particularly in the mountain pine forests. The common Mersorian flowers before it has any leaves at the end of April or beginning of May. The scarlet red berries grow on the bushes in the autumn. Striated Mersorian is one of the most common flowering plants in the national park's mountain pine forests. Its scent fills the air in June, brownish orange and oval in shape. Its berries are found in the forest. Cowberry. The cowberry is widely distributed throughout the national park's mountain pine forests, whereas the bilberry or whortleberry prefers calcareous soils. Cowberry leaves are shiny and leathery. The flowers are white and the berries are red. Lady slipper. This attractive orchid species thrive in open woodland on calcareous soil. It is rare in the national park and it does not grow above 1900 meters elevation. It's most likely to be found at the entrance to the Eschar Valley in the San John Woods. This plant is extremely rare today and is strictly protected. Purple saxifrage, delicate white blooms. White flowers are some of the most beautiful in the European Alps, including famous Edelweiss, which is Switzerland's national flower. Though forever linked to Austria for fans to the sound of music, while the mountain avens is a true rose, the Christmas rose is one of the several white alpine buttercups varieties. Mossy sagebrush is pictured and was found on high rocky ground, and there are two white varieties of sagebrush. Pure white Swiss rock jasmine can also be found. Aside from water, the enigmatic Swisher cotton sedge is discovered. This was growing high in the mountains above Zermatt, besides the reefless alpine lake. Unless you count the cheerful granimus displayed on every Calit balcony, it may take some searching to find a true red flower in the Swiss Alps. In the high grassland, I was able to spot the rarely seen black vanilla orchid. A visiting Burnet moth perfectly matched the black and red theme. As a conclusion, Swiss alpine flowers in full bloom are one of the most beautiful sights in the Alps mountain range. A short hike up any mountainside will reveal a variety of Swiss mountain flowers, including primroses and heathers. If you get a chance to gaze upon the variety of beautiful alpine flowers blooming in the Swiss Alps, then hopefully this list a long taproot that allows a Swiss Androsay to draw on nutrition and water anchors itself in rock crevices. Ball-shaped cushion formations can be found between 2,000 and 3,200 meters elevation in the national park, such as at Fuorca Valsasa or PIS will help you identify everything you find to improve your knowledge in the forest.